How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm so happy you're here.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one.
So good. I know, me too. I was like, oh, this is going to be like juicy because I feel like this is stuff we know, but that we like don't share. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. And I feel like so often like we have conversations about like kind of more like the big picture stuff
Yeah,
and not really like how do you actually implement that. So I'm excited to talk today.
me too. Okay, so yeah, let's have you tell the people who you are. I think most people know. Then I'll tell the people about my earrings because obviously I need to do that. And
Clearly.
then we will say all the things about strategies. But yeah, I'm really excited for this one. But yeah, just give them like a little
Cool.
update there. Mm.
So, hi guys, I'm Megan Schopieray. I am the COO of A Let Up Life, and I basically have been working in A Let Up Life for 4.5 years, I think, at this point. And so, yeah, so I basically just run the day-to-day operations and do all of the like back-end management, team management, just making sure that everything goes smoothly on the back end.
And you run white space.
And I run white space.
Tristan, yes, we are going to start handing out prizes. I would give you hoop earrings, but I feel like that's maybe not what you're after. Tristan said, are we going to start handing out prizes for the person who shows up first? Yeah, I'll come up with something other than hoop earrings.
Yeah. What's another idea?
Yeah, you tell me the guy version of hoop earrings is, and it's yours. Okay, but I have to tell you guys about my earrings because last week, remember how I was talking about how I couldn't wear those earrings because they were hoops, but they were open and they kept catching on my mask. Ta-da! They go all the way around. And so it doesn't matter if you have a mask on. All right, I just had to share that. They're also like $5 on Amazon. So get you some. But it's very exciting because last week I was like, oh, I haven't worn these because you can't. And now you can, except now I pulled them out. But you get my point. Good times. Megan's like, thank you. Can we get on to the important stuff? But seriously, that is important. Okay, so what we are talking about today is how we connect and convert with our people. We're going to talk really specifically about the tools that we use to do that, but we're also going to talk about the different levels we do that at. So we're going to talk about that from a community perspective. We're going to talk about that from like a wait list and people who buy DIY perspective. And then we're going to talk about it from a client perspective. So that's that. But there's a couple of things I want to say first. One is, and I feel like I like ranted on this big time on a live stream recently, so I'm going to save y'all the rant, but I am going to provide a little context, which is that you can be strategic and sincere. So I feel like when we start talking about things like how to connect more, how to personalize it more, how to use tools around it, how to get strategic around it, all that kind of stuff, like the first thing that'll like comes up for a lot of people is like, oh, so then that's fake. Or so then that's not real. Oh, so that you're just using connection as like a marketing strategy. Yes. Connection is a marketing strategy. And you can be really sincere and integrity around it. And the two don't have to be opposing. Like I think in our space, sometimes we think sincerity is only gleaned when it's like not planned and there's no tool to support it and whatever. And I just don't think that's true. Like if we didn't have a lot of the tools that we're going to share with you or a lot of the processes, I just couldn't do that. Like it would just be physically impossible for me to reach out, connect with my audience, all of that, but also recognize that it takes a significant amount of time to do a lot of this stuff. So it's very sincere and genuine. And like, I want to do it. And we, all of us at A Lit Up Life feel really, really like passionately about creating that connection. But it doesn't come without having to have tools and processes to support that because it is a business and because we have finite time. So anyway, I just want to say that because I really feel like in this space, it can feel very much like one or the other kind of thing, right? So it can feel so much like I have to be so sincere and so genuine. I can never have a purpose of selling, or I only have a purpose of selling. And if I even remotely say I want to connect, and I want to sell something that it's bad. Like that's called business. Like ideally you're in a business where you want to do both. Like I love my clients. I want to serve the shit out of them. And of course I'm running a business and need to get paid. So both are true. Any thoughts on that, Megan?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's just like in how you approach it. Like if you are approaching it with like, hey, I want to make these connections. So like in this like really authentic and sincere way and nurture these relationships, then of course that's how it's gonna come across on the other end too. Because I think that sometimes people are like, oh, it's gonna seem too like, I don't know, like awkward from their end or something. And I think that the energy that you're putting out is the energy that they're gonna receive.
For sure. And I think like it depends on what's the intention. Like when we come to it as a team, we're going, how can we serve and support and love on our people more? We're not going like, how do we make them feel like we like them even if we don't? Like that's like not a thing. You know what I mean? So anyway, context there. Tristan said the guy version is slightly smaller. Who's earrings? I'm on that. I will find that and they will be yours. So here we kind of think about it on 3 levels. So we have people that are, just in our audience and in our community. We have people that are buying from us in like, small products like MSC framework, business bundle, things like that, like $99 and under. And then we have one-on-one clients. So there's a different way that we show up and connect with all of them. But like connection is the name of the game right now. I've been talking about this a lot lately. I think like that has always been true for us at A Lit Up Life, just because that's a core value of mine. And I think it's a core principle of business that I've just always believed in. But I think especially the online space is seeing a resurgence of not only that being important, but almost mandatory. Like I think most of our audiences are craving and insisting upon that. Something that I like had written in a post recently, which I don't think is out yet. Let's see, we have systems and processes. Is this idea of like the market always speaks to us. And like right now, the market is saying we want to be seen as humans, not numbers. Like, and that's what's so great about the market is it always self-regulates. Like I've seen the pendulum swing a lot over the course of time. Megan has too, being in the online space where it's been like no connection, all the connection. I think we kind of, ideally want the pendulum to fall somewhere in the middle, which is what we're about, which is like, of course we want to serve. Of course we want to connect. Connection is like the thing right now. But again, figure out a way to do it that is sustainable. Like, I think that when it shifts, then sometimes people are like, oh, okay, so I'll just like send, like 100 DMs all day and I'll just like, bleed from my eyes trying to, like message people and things like that. And so our version is kind of like, it's definitely somewhere in the middle.
And I think that like, there's always a lot of like, one of the things we'll talk about when we discuss this today is like using tools and technology to support that, not necessarily just like relying on it to do everything for you. Like you don't want it to be 100% automated because then it loses that personal connection and that personal touch. And so using these different tools to support that and just make it easier and more streamlined and more systematized rather than it being something that, feels like it's either really overwhelming or completely hands-off and totally automated without any of that personalization.
For sure. So good. Janelle says intention is everything. Exactly. 100%. Okay. By the way, I feel like I say this on Megan's live streams now, but reminder, Megan loves specific questions. Obviously, so do I, but Megan
really do.
Questions. So if you're listening and you have a question, please, you are giving Megan love by just asking that. So by all means don't feel like, oh, I don't want to bug them or I don't want to ask or whatever. Like all the specific questions are welcome. It will light Megan up. Do her some justice here. Okay. So first level is community. So let's talk about kind of how we do that for this community. So when I say do that, what I'm talking about is like that deepening of connection, that service. And also like potentially that conversion or getting, something that we want there too. So like one way we do that is like free podcast sessions. Mm-hmm. So if you leave a review on my podcast, literally, not if you literally leave a review, the podcast is literally, you are entered to win a free session for that month. So every month I set aside time to give a free session to a podcast, to someone who has left a podcast review. So it's both, like, that is me getting to connect with someone that loves literally and to serve someone that's listening to the podcast. And it's getting, that conversion opportunity. And I don't mean conversion in terms of sale, but I mean in terms of like our audience doing something that would like greatly support us and that we would like them to do. So yeah, we make the time, like that's just a set process. Megan can talk a little bit more about what that looks like, but it's kind of like being intentional about that. It's saying like, I want to set aside an hour of my time each month to do that and to serve in that way. Obviously I could have a client in that space and I'm full, and I don't, because I want to prioritize that long-term connection. I want people listening to literally to know that they have that opportunity. Like that feels super important to me. And again, like that's sincere. And a lot of people that take me up on that call are going to want to work with me on the other side of that too. So there are like all these mutual wins here that are involved. And that's like always what we're looking for, is like, where are those like mutual wins, right?
Yeah. And I think like it's something that the process behind it is super easy, right? Like we basically just have a recurring, like an automated prompt that once a month says, hey, Lacey, choose a winner. Here are the reviews, right? And then she goes in and chooses it. And then we find out who it is, because sometimes we don't know who it is. And so we have to post about it and stuff. But like we kind of find that person's contact information and send them an email and be like, hey, you won the session. Here's the link to book it. And then, so the back end process behind it is really quite simple and quite like, there's not much to it. There's like an automated reminder and that's about it. And then, from there, we just send an email, so I think that it's not a huge, like it's 45 minutes of Lacey's time to do the session, which is awesome because you get to connect with somebody that you wouldn't have been connecting with otherwise and being able to serve in that way. And then also like, it's not a huge, I guess, like the impact is so much greater than the like effort going into it, right? Like, which I think is just a win-win all around. Like we're not spending hours on the front end to make this happen, but like the impact for it might take 5 minutes, but it has such a big ripple effect afterward.
Again, like I think this is really valuable to say there, which is like to set that one-time reminder up. Like the reminder literally says to me, pick a podcast winner by this date. Here are all the places that you can look for reviews. Like here is what you do when you have picked someone, send it to Megan. Like that probably took 10 minutes to set up, if that. It's super easy for me because the link is right there. I click on it and I go do it. And it happens without a lot of extra thought on our part. And so that's something I would encourage you guys to think about too, is like, can you set up those recurring tasks that always prompt you, always remind you, instead of every month being like, oh fuck, did we pick a podcast winner? Oh my God, da, da, da. And then it becomes so reactive and intense. And then we miss months and I feel bad because I made a promise and da, 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 and like, it can just spiral so quickly,
Mm-hmm. And it's just like one less thing, like that is not a thing that your brain needs to hold space for, quite frankly, like to remember to do something every month. Like, and that's why like a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today, there is some type of automated like prompt or reminder or something like that. So the one we're talking about for this is just in Basecamp, where it automatically reminds Lacey at the end of every month. And so you can use any type of project management, like whatever your project management system is, you should be able to set just like a recurring reminder. And then that's just something that you don't have to like constantly be remembering to do, because that's just not, like you said, it's not a valuable thing to like hold space for, because you're maybe always feeling like you're going to like miss something or
exactly.
Whatever.
Belinda says, how far in advance do you have Lacey's content scheduled?
So we basically, like we have a lot of content written out, like the actual writing stuff is all saved and stuff. So like that's all kind of like ready. So we have a bank and an inventory that we can pull from, but the actual schedule of like how far in advance do we actually like plan it out and schedule it, honestly, is usually only like a week or two. We might schedule out like ideas of like, here's what we want to talk about this week because of X, Y, and Z, or, but like a lot of it is just, we like to be able to have a lot of flexibility. So we really just schedule like 1, maybe 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah, totally. And that helps me too, because if I'm like, oh, I really want to talk about this specific thing, or, oh gosh, so many people have been asking me about that. Can we focus on this or whatever? So it gives us freedom there too. But yeah. Okay. Let us know if you have any other questions. Thank you for asking, Belinda. Okay. So that 2 other community things, and obviously this isn't all inclusive. These are just like little things we wanted to chat about today. Is we do a community spotlight. Every month we do well, technically we do 2 community spotlights every month, right? We do, like the one that we've been doing forever. And then we've added the BIPOC business feature as well. So that we're featuring other voices, and we're making a really, really, really big intention to feature that. Not that that isn't getting featured in the community spotlight, but to go out of our way to make sure that's at least happening every month too. So with that, it is literally the same, you guys. Like, it is an automated thing. Like, I get the reminder, like, hey, pick someone that we're featuring and write why. Pick someone that we're celebrating and write what you're excited about related to it. And it links me to the spreadsheet with all of our, so for the BIPOC Biz feature, you can nominate people as well. So it links me to that spreadsheet. And then that's just like a recurring task that I have every single month. And like a lot of it is templated. Like obviously we're filling it in for who we're featuring and what, but a lot of the context around it is, once it's written, it's there. So it's kind of just making that a really seamless thing where it's so beautiful, because we get to do the thing that we say we're committed to, which is, raising those voices and, being a tide that lifts all ships in this community. So it's just like a systematized way for us to be about what we say we're about. And again, sincere and strategic. I sincerely want to do that. And like Megan was saying, to hold all that in my brain every single month and remember when and what date and how and where was that and it's just really, really hard to do. So that's just a super simple system we have. Megan, I'll let you just kind of share if you have anything else about that, but like same thing there.
Yeah. Like, I think that, so we have the 2 spotlights and then we do giveaways. I don't know if you wanted to talk about that separately.
Oh,
but
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean, we have different like community events and like special things that we do within the community to kind of highlight and like highlight the different things that we want to highlight in the business and in the community and, all of that. And so I think that, a lot of it is just very, like a recurring template, basically, where we have the outline of everything that we want to say in the post, everything, like what are the bullet point things that we want to make sure to include in the spotlights and stuff like that, where it's
like
not
with the community spotlight, we always want to try to link back to something that person said or a post they made. So there's like a reminder to do that, right? It's not just like, oh, wait, shit, I forgot to link back to something, because I would forget in that moment, but my intention is different than that, right?
Well, and then I think too, it just creates consistency around it too, where even though it's happening only once a month in these different ways, I think that then the more that people start to see that, the more that they start to like connect with it too. And like it sticks more, they can remember it, they can rely on it, they know what to expect. They know that, every month we've been doing a book giveaway and giving away, we just did it last week, I think, right? And so I think that just having those recurring tasks, having those things that you do every single month, and just having it on like an automated schedule, basically.
We even have a reminder for when I need to pick the book giveaway, where we put, where we randomly select the book giveaway winners, and then a reminder to team to send them out. So it seems excessive, but to set all that up is 15 minutes. But the value of that over time is so huge. Like Megan said, we're consistent. People can count on us. We're not doing a giveaway and then forgetting to pick someone. We're not, picking someone, then forgetting to send it. Like, it's very systematic and automated in the way in which we do it, but it's very genuine in like supporting what we're trying to support, right? Mm-hmm. Trying to foster that connection in our community, trying to make sure that we're about what we say we're about, I think that you can have great intent. Like, you can be about like, oh, be the rising tide that lifts all boats in your community. But like, as your business gets bigger, unless you've created an intentional space to do that, it can be really hard. So finding that stuff that you can commit to month over month or week over week, and then putting those things in place is just a total game changer.
And I think that it probably sounds like a lot. Like, we're like, oh, we do this and this and this. But honestly, we started with one thing, right? We started with, I think the community spotlight was probably the first, or the podcast, I don't know. But like, we started with one thing, created a process like for that, where we had the recurring reminders, and we had, the template outline and stuff like that. And then it makes it so easy to just add on another spotlight, add on another giveaway, add on another thing, because we already have kind of the base process set up. So we're just basically taking that same framework and just applying it to a different monthly task.
Totally. That's such a good thing to say, which is so true. Okay, so then that's like kind of at our community level. So now we'll go to like the people that are on our wait list, or that buy like DIY products for us. So the thing I am obsessed with for this, if you've talked to me recently, you've probably heard me say this, because it is like, but I'm obsessed with Bonjoro, Bonjoro. The lovely Corey Javid, who is a dear friend and client, mentioned this to me, and I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. And now I'm like obsessed. It is like the best thing. Anyway, check it out. I'm not an affiliate. I'm just like an obsessed user. But so what Bonjoro does is it just allows you to send quick video messages. So anyone that gets on our wait list, and anyone that buys from me is going to get a video message from me saying like, thanks, basically. Because I want to thank people that buy from me and that join the wait list. And so again, it's like, that is a sincere desire for me. Before I found Bonjoro, I didn't really know how to make that happen, besides like the automated email that goes out and says thank you, which is great. But again, like, we're looking to really continue to personalize and go deeper with our community. And that tool has been invaluable in helping me to do that. So I basically get an email that says that Megan set up an automation that said, you can talk more about that too, but basically it says, hey, so-and-so signed up for the wait list, send them a video. I can click on it during the day at different points in time, send someone a quick video, tell them thank you, tell them the stuff I want them to know, connect with them. And, that's maybe taking, whatever, 10 minutes of my time each day or something like that. I haven't counted, but it is so worth it to me. And it is so worth it to the people that are getting it. Like, someone told me like they got the video and like they felt like so seen and so not like a number, that it made them cry. And that made me cry, because I was like, this is crazy that like in our space, that is not normalized. Like, it is not normalized to reach out and be like, hey, Megan, I want to personally thank you for buying from me. That meant a lot. And it has just been so cool to be able to do that. So I'll let you talk about that a little bit more. But
I think it's just like, I also just want to kind of talk about the video.
Wait, sorry. I just want to read this comment from Janelle. She said, since being part of your community, my consistency has gone from sketchy to 100, because I realize how consistency creates fans. As in, I have a reminder in my phone to join your live stream on Mondays. That's lovely. Thank you so much, Janelle. That is so nice. Like, but it's so true. And it is so nice. Like, but I think that's a beautiful thing, right? Like, it's beautiful for you to feel that consistency with me, but it like makes me like literally tear up to know that like you have a phone reminder to come to that. Like, it's such a like win on both sides. And I think that's what's so important. Just like the Bonjoro, like it feels so fucking good for me to like honor someone for being part of my wait list. And it feels good for them to be honored. Like this is a win-win, you know? Hey, Megan. Janelle said she loved the Bonjoro. So good. Hi, Zakia. She says this tech girl is getting excited about Bonjoro. Oh my God. If you are a tech girl and you've not tried it, it's going to blow your fucking mind. It's so good. They should definitely hire me to be like their salesperson, I feel like. Like, let me tell you that. But anyway, yeah, go ahead, Megan. Sorry about that.
Oh, just I think that like just having like the videos are not super long. They're like what?
Yeah, they're like
a couple minutes.
Not even. I mean,
yeah. Okay.
Right. It's like 30 seconds to a minute, depending on how much I'm blabbing. But basically, yeah.
And I think it's just like one of those things that it probably took me, I don't know, a couple hours to set everything up and to create a couple. We use ActiveCampaign for our email marketing. And so I created a couple of automations where we already have automations set up so that when people join the wait list, they get, you know, emails and follow-ups and all of that. And same thing when people purchase any of the DIY products. And so all I had to do was add on to those automations and send reminders to Lacey for, hey, this person signed up for the wait list. Send them a Bonjoro. Hey, this person purchased X product. Send them a Bonjoro. And so I think that just like that was such a good upfront investment of both time and money to take a couple hours, if that, to set everything up, set up these automations. And then, you know, it just has such a big impact and effect on the other end.
Zakia says, is it accessible on mobile? Digital nomad here. It is. And actually that's, sorry, Riley's scratching herself and she's like hitting the wall when she's doing it. That's one of the things I really like about it. You can literally do it anywhere. Like, obviously I do it a lot at my desk because it's just easy for me because I'm sitting here. But I've like done one while I was cooking dinner. I did one while I was walking the dogs. Like I really try to make it like easy and personal kind of thing. So yeah, it totally is. It's so good. I was going to say something else there. Oh, I was going to say, like, I think where people get tripped up sometimes is like what Megan was saying, like it is a time investment. It is a monetary investment in terms of like, I mean, I don't think it's very much, like $20 a month or something. But I'm also paying Megan to set it up. And then I'm taking time, you know, if you add it up over the week, like an hour, maybe, I don't know, a week to do that. And like, you can get really crazy about that trade-off. Like I could be like, oh, well, fuck, in an hour a week, I could take on another client. But I like, I'm so focused on that long-term game in my business. Like, it's not about like, how can I get another client? And it's about like, how can I make every person that touches our business feel good, feel seen, feel important? Like that's way more valuable than how do I take on one more client? But again, it's as much as that's sincere, it's strategic too. Like that is playing a long-term game. If everyone on my wait list feels really good and really seen and has a great experience with a lit up life, guess what? That's valuable. And again, like that blend of both is so important. And I just think that conversation is missing so much. So anyway, both are true. And there's something else I wanted to say about Bonjoro. Oh, the other thing that we do, and this connects to Bonjoro, is we do Q&A videos every month for everyone who's on the wait list. And one of the things I do on Bonjoro is remind people about that, because I think it's easy to kind of like, you're almost signing up for two things effectively. Like you're signing up for the wait list and you're signing up for this like monthly kind of like mini free membership thing. We haven't really named it a thing. So it's the monthly mini free membership thing. So it's easy to miss that. Like you might be like, oh, I'm just signing up for the wait list and miss that. So in the Bonjoros, I get to say, hey, also remember you can send a question. I want to, you know, help in whatever way I can right now. And so it helps engage people more to get them to actually submit a question. And so that's sort of like a part that connects it too. Like all of these pieces can fit together. And the reason we do the Q&A is for the same reason. Like, I want you to feel like just being on the wait list and having a great experience. I'm getting served. She wants to show up and help in the meantime, because I do. Instead of like, I, got on this wait list like, months and months ago, but I can't really remember if I've even heard from them since then. Like, it does take that extra lift, but it's so worth it for us. Megan, I'll let you talk about kind of like the connection there in the Q&As.
Yeah. So I think that, same thing with the monthly Q&As. We have an automated reminder for Lacey set up to remind her to go in. We have a spreadsheet where when people submit the questions, it automatically gets added to a spreadsheet. So we have in Basecamp, she gets a to-do that has the link to the spreadsheet. She goes in there and she goes in and like answers the questions. And then team has a recurring to-do that we will upload them to YouTube, we have like a vault on the website that basically just has all of the previously answered videos. So we add them there, we send out an email. So it's like a very systemized process where the same things are happening each time, but it is something that, is very personalized too, because you're literally answering people's questions that they have submitted to you, so it has like so much personalization in there too. And then they're having those follow-ups that are in those touch points every single month. So whether they've been on the wait list for a week or like a couple of months, they're getting those like regular touch points.
This is so good. Janelle said, I remember thinking as if she is sending me a personal message for a $30 purchase. And then you said my name in the message. And then I bought again and again. Time well spent for sure. So funny. I think that's so true. Where like, because a lot, like I think the subject line is, here's a personal video I made for you, because it is, but I think a lot of people can almost eye roll that and be like, sure. And then it like actually is a personal video.
You're like, oh shit.
Yeah. It's so good. Belinda said, okay, the first time I got a Bonjoro from someone, I thought they were BSing me till they said my name. Then I had to take a few minutes to process. LOL, I love it. Exactly. That's so funny. Totally. Exactly what you're saying. Like, and I think it's because, again, like our industry has gotten so far removed from this. It's like, oh my God, how could I be bothered to send something for a $30 purchase? And I'm like, how could you not? That is such an important customer in your business. And one thing I want to say about the Q&A thing, and one of the reasons that we do that is because I really, really, really believe in even energy exchange in business. I feel like I used to talk about that a lot more than I do, but it's like one of the core tenets of how I think about things. And so for me, like I'm asking you to get on my wait list, which is a big ask. Like you're telling me, hey, I like want to sign up to get bombarded with emails when you open it, and I want to like get sold to and all of that stuff. So what can I give you too? Like, how can we create that exchange, whether that's a nice message or answering, some messages in Q&A, or some questions in Q&A, like that feels like such a no-brainer give for me. And I think that, again, sometimes our space has gotten a little far away where we expect a lot from our audience without feeling like we need to show up for the other end of that. And so this, again, like Janelle was a perfect example. Like she's bought again and again because of that, because she knows that I demonstrated I care about even energy exchange. So it's safe to buy from me. It's safe to show up here because it is. So I think it's just like remembering those little things can go such a long way. I do 4 Q&A videos a month usually. And so say they're like, what are they usually, like 12 minutes each or something? The other day I did a 20-minute one. I was like, shut up.
Stop. You did not. I did not do that.
I just kept like, but anyway.
Usually I think they started out being less than 5 minutes.
I try so hard to keep them short so you guys aren't like, okay. But anyway, so say on average, I'm going to try not to do the 20-minute one again so that you can actually watch all 4. But say on average, they're 12 minutes, right? So that's about 48 minutes a month, 50 minutes a month, of my time. Like, that is such a no-brainer. Like, right? So anyway, just want to say that. And then again, Megan invested the time up front to get that process set up, and team invests less than that to upload them. We have a reminder email that's automated that goes out every month to say, hey, remember to submit your questions. Hey, the new videos are up. Like, it's so simple if you systematize it, and allows you to show up so much for your people, right?
Totally.
Okay. What else do we have here? Oh, last thing that we have there, which actually kind of is a client thing too, so that's a nice overlap, is we use Hello Audio. One of my former partnership clients, actually, and like just an amazing human, Lindsay Padilla, started this company called Hello Audio, and it is fucking awesome. I'm obsessed with it. I should be a salesperson for them too, except I think they're still in beta, so you maybe can't buy the second, although check on that because I can't say for sure. But basically, we submit my Q&A videos to them, or we submit the audio from my Q&A videos to them, and they make a private podcast feed. So only the people that are signed up for our waitlist get access to this private podcast feed. And so if I do a thing like I did last week where I accidentally make a 20-minute video, they don't have to sit in front of the computer and watch it. They can listen to it on the go. It's literally just like a podcast that comes up on like iTunes or Spotify or whatever you're using. And what we're just trying to do is like make it easy to connect with us, make it easy to get the content, make it easy to consume. So we're just like always looking for ways to do that. And then we've also done that for my clients with our value-centered sales course or program. Like, I only offer it as a mastermind now, and I only offer it to my one-on-one clients, but we made that into the Hello Audio stream as well, so that people can listen. Like, if you're like trying to, freshen up on sales or whatever, you can like be working out or driving or doing whatever and have value-centered sales in your ear. What was I going to say about that? We can talk about that process a little bit, but I think like the point I wanted to make there is like, that's just another connection point with your audience. Like, are you making it even easier for them to consume the content you already have? Like, I'm already making those Q&A videos. We already have value-centered sales. How can we make it easier for them to connect with us to utilize that? Do you want to say anything about that process, Megan?
I mean, not a ton.
Yeah.
I feel like
we pretty much just submit it to them every month.
Yeah, they pretty much handle everything. So
yeah.
it is really easy on our end because we aren't doing a ton for that. But
that's actually important to say. So we email them like once a month. I email usually Lindsay's husband, Derek, who's lovely and wonderful, and say, hey, we added 4 more audios to the G Drive folder. And he says, cool, and throws it on there and it's up. So we don't even have to like get a new link or re-update people or anything like that. It's like, we're just always linking back to the same thing. So there's like no work for us involved on that end, basically. Is Hello Audio Lindsay's software? Zakia, yes, I think they're still building out pieces of it, but yeah, they've like formulated the software. Yeah, she's definitely been posting about it for sure. That's when I think I got on like the last day you could get in the beta round, and I was like, yes. Because it's so good. And again, it's just like these little tools like Hello Audio or Bonjoro or Basecamp recurring tasks, like that make it so much easier to do these things. And most of them are a relatively small investment. I don't know what Hello Audio is now, but I think I paid like $7.97 for 3 feeds or something like that. I can't remember. It was under $1,000. So like, obviously I'm not trying to like be like, oh, $1,000 is nothing. I know it can be a big lift, but again, like that exchange on the other side of it, say someone listens to all the Q&As that otherwise wouldn't have listened and then decides to become a client because of that. Well, that's totally worth it then, right? Okay, what else? Client stuff then. So that kind of ties in because obviously we gave clients Hello Audio access for value centered sales. The thing with value centered sales too is I do a lot, well, Megan and I make Megan do them with me. We do a lot of like practice sales calls and overcoming objections. So that's especially helpful to listen to in your headphones if you're just trying to like get the languaging down, get the practice down, understand what's going on there. So that was like a value add for clients. But the things we do for clients, we do like onboarding gifts, we do offboarding. Well, not offboarding because everyone's
at the end of the first 6 months.
At the end of our first 6 months, we do something. I get a reminder email for everyone's birthday, so I can make sure to stay on top of that, wish everyone a happy birthday. Let's talk about onboarding gifts, especially too, and this is, I'll let Megan kind of take this one, but we also really do like a series of things too. If like someone, like most of my clients are putting deposits down pretty far out. Mm-hmm. So we try to give them things in between that would be really helpful, where it's not just like, okay, you put down a deposit and then you don't hear from us for 4 months or whatever that is. Mm-hmm. Right, Megan, I'll let you take that one.
Yeah. So before, like when someone first puts down their deposit, we basically have a spreadsheet that Lacey adds their name and their email to, and then their like estimated start date. And then based on their start date or their actual start date, based on their start date, we have a series. There's, I think, like 2 different emails and a small gift or something that go out. And it's like, this thing gets sent within the first month. And then 2 months later, the next thing sends, and 2 months later, or, whatever it is, it kind of depends based on how far out.
And we give them like exclusive content that like only my clients have gotten, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, like we just have that set up in a spreadsheet. So then anytime that Lacey adds a name to a spreadsheet, we get an email saying, hey, Lacey added someone to the spreadsheet, go in and do this thing. Mm-hmm. And so we have those prompts where it's not something that like we're always having to like remember those things, right? Like we get those prompts, we get the reminders to go in and like send these emails or send the gifts or something like that for like nurturing the upcoming clients who have put down a deposit but haven't started their package yet. And then once their package actually starts, same thing. We get another email reminder or an prompt that says, hey, they started their package, send them their welcome gift, and, basically start the onboarding, the official onboarding process. And we basically use everything with Google Spreadsheets and ActiveCampaign automations. And those are the only 2 things that we really use for all of those reminders and all of those like prompts and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Zakia says, do you use Zapier or something else to zap an email for a new addition to the spreadsheet? Are you using Google Sheets or Airtable?
We use Google Sheets, and we are right now, I think, using Zapier. But
probably a Zapier. I think it's wrong.
I don't know, because they're called Zaps, so I feel like either one could go. I always call it. But yeah, we use that for some things. I think we use it integrated with Google Sheets to send us an email. I think, or have it integrated with ActiveCampaign, and then ActiveCampaign sends us an email.
Yeah. Because when I add someone, then you get an email. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I add someone, there's like a Zap. Even for like when I add a new so like say someone starts, there's a spreadsheet where I go in and add that they officially started and what their address is, because we send a gift. And so we have like a Zap set up for that too, where then Megan gets notified that I added someone, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like none of this is like crazy revolutionary. I mean, like, obviously I think Hello Audio is super cool. I think Bonjoro is super cool. Otherwise, we're mostly using like Google Sheets and Active Campaign, like Megan was saying. And we're using a lot of like that automated reminders in Basecamp. But that's the only reason it's possible for us to have this many touch points with people. Like if I wasn't getting those emails that said, hey, someone signed up for the waitlist, go send them a Bonjoro, I just would forget to check Bonjoro, not because I don't want to, but because like these are the things when your business is big and you have a lot of clients and team and all of that, that is just easy to miss. So like my advice, and I think yours is too, Megan, is like check in with yourself. Like, what are my intentions? Like, what do I want to really commit to? Do not commit to all of this. Like we have built this up over years. So, but you might pick one thing. Like I want to do one thing in my community. I want to do one thing for people that like buy a product for me. And I want to do one thing for my clients. Right. And like that can continue to grow and you can continue to add on top of it. But like find the ways to systematize it, because no matter, like even if you have the best of intentions in the world, you're gonna be inconsistent with most of this kind of stuff because it's important, but it's not urgent. Right.
And a lot of it is like small things. Like I feel like most of the time, if we remember like the big things that are really important and we need to remember because like they are top of mind for us. But a lot of these things like remembering to choose the winners for the podcast session every month, for example, like important, yes, but not top of mind when you have a ton of other things going on, when it only comes up once a month. If it was like every single day you're doing something, then you probably don't really need a reminder because you're in the habit of that. But I think that, just having, and I would say that it's probably one of the best places to start is to just kind of choose what are your things, like what is one thing that you're going to commit to, and then just set up some type of prompt or some type of automated reminder for yourself to start to do that thing, because then you can continue to streamline it and systematize it and everything as you go. But just the reminder itself is so valuable because that's what helps you stay consistent with it. And that's what helps like remind you to actually show up for that thing.
Something else I would say there too, just from like my perspective of, like having to go do a lot of these things, is the more context you can give yourself on those reminders, the better. Like Megan was saying, like the podcast one, like it literally is like links to all the places we have reviews, where to report the winner to, like in terms of like sharing with Megan or whatever. And like gives me all this context so I can get it done super, super fast. Or like even the Q&A videos, like when it reminds me to do that, it's linked to the spreadsheet where all the Q&A is popular, all the questions that we've had submitted populate, and I like can pretty immediately take action on all of these things. Where if I was like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do Q&As, shit, where do I find that spreadsheet again? Oh, okay, I'm supposed to do podcast reviews. I remember that I was supposed to look in a couple places, but I usually only use iTunes. Where else should I be looking? Like, it's amazing how those little things can stop you and how big of a difference they can make. Or like even the thing that says to me, reminder to send so-and-so a Bonjoro, it links to Bonjoro, literally. Like Megan literally put a link in, so I don't have to be like, oh, what? I'm like, ding, video done. Like it's like off the plate kind of thing. So like that's just a little hack that I have found makes the biggest difference for me, is like the more like context that is provided in some of those reminders, the easier it is for me to take really quick, fast action on it. And the more they all happen and get done, like the community spotlight thing is another example. It's like, here's the template, here's the page, here's where you put it, here's where you review it, like all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much
long, so I guess that's not it.
Yeah.
I can't help it. So if you have questions for us about that, if you're watching the replay, feel free to let us know. Like we are happy to be an open book in terms of any of that. If you want to be on my wait list and get a video from me, it's leveluplife.com/waitlist. If you want to get the Q&A videos, you also want to sign up for the wait list because that's the only place you can get those. So people submit, and this is like something I'm loving is people are submitting very specific questions, which I love. Like, it's like, hey, I'm having this specific problem in my business in this specific way. And so you're getting like a depth that you wouldn't normally get, where I'm getting to really dive in and go specific. And you can also ask your own. Check out Hello Audio. I know they definitely have a Facebook page, or go to Lindsay Padilla's page, and Bonjoro is Bonjoro. Cool. As always, Megan, I appreciate you. I say this every week, but I can't help it, or every month, but I can't help it. Megan does not have to be here. Megan could be done working by now. Megan comes because she has been part of this community for 4.5 years, like she was saying, and because she actually sincerely cares and isn't invested. So this is just another example of that too, which we actually kind of forgot to mention. But yeah. Hey, like, but also we make this easy. We do it at the same Monday every month, same time. Megan knows it's on her schedule. It's like that commitment where it would be easy to be like, we should do a live together every month, and then just not do it.
And really, like, we said that for a very long time.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that it was like 6 months before we actually started these, that we were like, we should really do that. And then never did, until we actually got it in the calendar, actually created recurring reminders around it.
Yep.
And same thing, like we have, like we have a whole process around, like, we have a Google Doc where we jot down ideas for future, like, live streams, and we have a reminder to choose like what it is that we're going to talk about on the next one. So I think that it's like, it's all the same framework. It's all the same process, just kind of applied in a lot of different ways.
I want to say one last thing actually that you just made me think of, and then I swear I will stop talking. But it is amazing for me that I have Megan to set all of that up. But even if you don't, you can set this up quite easily. So I think that's important to say too. Like, don't think, well, I don't have a team, so I don't need the recurring task. Actually, you probably need it more if you don't have a team. Set it up for yourself. Like, put that shit in Basecamp for yourself. Put that automation and active campaign for yourself. Like, I think I just want to clarify that, because we've obviously been talking about it in terms of like you setting it up and team and whatever. But like, if I didn't have Megan, I would have all of these set up for myself, because it is like a requirement for that level of showing up and relationship building and everything, again, because it's like the non-urgent thing that sits and takes that brain space that you don't always execute on. So anyway, team or no team, this is a thing. Let us know what questions you have, Megan. I love you and appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here.
Yes, always. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.